Good morning. Today we are going to discuss the last topic in second unit or unit 2. Okay, the last topic is about quadratic system. Okay, what do we mean by quadratic system? Quadratic system is a system containing two quadratic equations or one linear and one quadratic equations. Okay, so this is actually, I'm just being specific here. Okay, so we can have two quadratics or one linear and one quadratic equations, but we are going to focus on the system with one linear and one quadratic equations. Okay, so what do we mean by this one? That is when you have two equations and the values of the variables x and y, if the variables are x and y, makes the both equations true. That means that when you plug in both values of x and y to the given equation, it will give you a true statement. Okay, so the solution of the system is the value of the variable that makes all the equations in the system true. Okay, so to understand that, let us have examples. But before that, the objective of and standard of the topic is to solve and graph system of linear equations. So I'll discuss to you how to solve it, to find the solutions, and also how to graph the given system and find the solution. Okay, I have here the steps to solve quadratic system. Okay, so these are the steps that we have to follow when we are solving it. But after discussing this, I will also show you how to find the solution by graphing. Okay. So I have here examples. Okay, so I have actually two examples here. Let's start with the first one. Y is equal to x squared minus 5x minus 6. And the other equation is y equals negative x minus 6. So as you can see here, you have two equations. One quadratic. Okay, this is a quadratic because the exponent is 2. Okay, and the other equation is a linear equation. When you say linear equation, the highest exponent is 1. So you have two equations, one quadratic and one linear, and we are looking for the solutions that will make these two equations true. Okay, value of x and y that will make these two equations true. So that means the value of x and y should be the same to this given equations, and it should make them equal or true. Okay, so these are the steps. The first step is change to y format. Make sure that the given equations are in y format or y equals format. In this case, both the quadratic and the linear equation is already in y format, so we don't have to do or to rewrite it for step 1. So we are going to move to the next step. The next step is set them equal to each other. So we are going to set them equal to each other. Since we are looking for the value of x and y that will make them equal, so therefore these two equations are equal. Okay, so I will write them equal to each other. So that will be, I usually write the quadratic equation on the left side of the equation and then the linear equation on the right side. So x squared minus 5x minus 6 is equal to negative x minus 6, right? So if the value of x is equal, therefore these two equations are equal, right? So that's it. And then let's do step 3. We write in standard form and solve for x by factoring. So we have to rewrite it in standard form first. So when you say standard form, it should be equal to 0. So if your equation is x squared minus 5x minus 6 equals negative x minus 6, I have to make this equal to 0. So my right side should be equal to 0. So to make this equal to 0, I will add this by x because negative x plus x is 0. And I will also add this by 6 because negative 6 plus 6 is also 0. If I do that on the right side, I should also do that on the left side, right? but I will look for the common term for x, that is negative 5x, so I'll put here plus x, and this is a number term, so I will write this here, right? So this becomes 0. Negative x plus x is 0. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. So my right side is already 0. And then I will simplify my left side. So I will just bring this down. So x squared. Negative 5x plus x is negative 4x. This is already 0, right? Because negative 6 plus 6 is 0. So my equation will be x squared, let me just rewrite it, x squared minus 4x, right? Okay, so and then we are going to solve by factoring. So if we are solving by factoring, you have to factor the left side. So this is equal to 0. To factor this, I only have a binomial here, so to factor this, I'm going to look for the common factor. The common factor here is x, because x is common to both of the first and the second term. So I will write x outside the parentheses, and I will look for the other factor that will give me this product. So what should I multiply to x to get x squared? That is x. What should I multiply to x to get negative 4x? That is negative 4. So x times x squared, x times negative 4 is negative 4x. And then after that, after factoring, we are going to solve for x using zero product property. What is zero product property? If x times x minus 4 equals 0, therefore x is equal to 0, or x minus 4 is also equal to 0, right? So x is equal to 0, and x minus 4 is also equal to 0. So this is already the value for x. So here x minus 4 equals 0. I have to solve for x. I will isolate this, so I'll add both sides by 4. X is equal to 4. So I already have the value for x. Now it's time for us to solve for y. How do we solve for y? I will use the value of my x here. So I will solve for y when my x is equal to 0 and when x is equal to 4. Okay, so how do I solve for y? I will just choose between these two equations. Of course, when you are choosing for the equation, just choose the simpler equations, or the one that is easy to solve. Okay, so I always choose the linear equations. So I will choose y equals negative x minus 6. You can also choose this one. Okay, any of the two. You have your options, but let us just use this one. Okay, so y equals negative x minus 6. I will plug in my x, or 0. So this will become negative 0 minus 6. Y is equal to negative 6. See? So my y is negative 6 when my x is 0. What about if my x is 4? So I will do the same thing. I will use the same equations. Y equals negative x minus 6. And then I will plug in my x, which is 4. So negative 4 minus 6. Y is equal to negative 10. Alright? So what are the solutions? The solutions are, when you are writing the solutions, you will just give the ordered pair x, y. Okay, the value for x and your y. If your x is 0, your y is negative 6. And if your x is 4, your y is negative 10. Okay, so these are the solutions. Now to check that, you just simply plug in your value for x and y. Okay, and then it should make the given equation true. 1. y equals x squared minus 7x plus 15, and y equals 3x minus 6. Let's make this negative 6. Okay, this is minus 6. Okay. Alright, so first step is change to y format. So we have already the two equations in y format, so we will skip step 1. We are going to move to the next step, set them equal to each other. So if you are going to look for the value of x and y, that will make them equal, so therefore they are equal. Yes, they are equal, so we are going to write down the given equations as equal to each other. So write the quadratic equation on the left side. So x squared minus 7x plus 15, it should be equal to 3x minus 6, right? So it's already equal to each other. And then the third step is to write in standard form. So x squared minus 7x plus 15 is equal to 3x minus 6. We want to write it in standard form, so therefore we have to equate this to 0. So to make this equal to 0, I have to subtract this by 3x, and I also have to add this by 6 because I want this equal to 0. If I do that on the right side, I should also do that on the left side. So the same term with 3x is negative 7x, so I will write here negative 3x. 6 is a number term, so I will write here plus 6. So this is now 0. So my left side will be, I will bring this down, so that is x squared minus 10x plus 21 equals 0. And then after writing in standard form, I'm going to solve by factoring. So I will factor this, right? So factor x squared, that is x times x. And then I will also factor 21. So 21, that us list down all the factors of positive 21. But the factor should give the sum of negative 10, right? So let us list down all the factors. So you can use 7 times 3. Since this is positive, you can also have negative 7 times negative 3, 21 times 1, or negative 21 times negative 1. Okay, which of these pairs of factors will give us negative 10 when we add them? So we know that the product of these all pairs are equal to 21. Now let us check the middle term. So here, you can use negative 7 and negative 3, because negative 7 times negative 3 is positive 21. Negative 7 plus negative 3 is negative 10. So negative 7 and negative 3, right? And then after factoring, you are going to use zero product property to solve for x. If x minus 3 times x minus 7 is equal to 0, therefore x minus 3 is equal to 0, or x minus 7 is equal to 0, and x minus 3 is equal to 0. And then we are going to solve for x. So isolate x, so plus 7. X is equal to 7. Add 3. X is equal to 3. So the values for x are 7 and 3. Now it's time for us to solve for y. To solve for y, we are going to use any of these two equations or functions. Okay, make sure that you choose the easier one. So if your x is 7 and your x is equal to 3. Okay, so we are going to use the linear equations because that is more easier than the quadratic. Okay, so if y is equal to 3x minus 6 and your x is 7, just simply plug in 7 for x. So 3 times 7 minus 6. This is 21 minus 6. That is 15. Right? So your y is 15. So the solutions will be 7, 15. If your x is 3, y is equal to 3 times 3x minus 6. So 3 times 3 minus 6, this is 9 minus 6 is equal to 3. So another solution will be 3, 3. Alright? Okay, so we have now these solutions by solving. Now let us try to graph them. Let us find the solution. Let's see if we will have the same answer when we graph them. Okay, to graph this, all you have to do is to use Desmos. Okay, the first thing that you need to do is to graph these two equations. So the first one is y equals x squared minus 5x minus 6. So you already have the quadratic equation, right? And then get another box, and then you graph y equals negative x minus 6. Okay, so you have here the parabola and a line, thus the graph of a linear equation is a line, a straight line. Okay, now let us look at the given equation, the given graph. To find the solution, all you have to do is to click the intersections of the two graph. Okay, so the intersections are, so this is your parabola, this is your line. They intersect at these 2 points. Okay, so 0, negative 6, you have 0, negative 6, so we have the same answer. And 4, negative 10, you have 4, negative 10. Okay, so that's how you solve by graphing. It's more easier than solving it like this. Okay, so during the test, you can just simply graph them and look for the intersection. Okay, another one is, let us try the other one. Okay, so we have y equals x squared minus 7x plus 15. So we have this, and the other one is y equals 3x minus 6. Okay, let us look at the graph and look for the intersections of these two graphs. You have 3, 3 and 7, 15. So 3, 3 is one of the intersection, 7, 15 is the other intersection, therefore the solutions are 3, 3 and 7, 15. So that's how you do it by graphing. Okay, so that's more easier. Okay, so key concept, solutions of linear quadratic system. You just have to look for the intersection of the graph. If the two graphs intersect exactly are in two intersections, therefore there are two solutions. If they intersect in 1 point, there will be one solution. If they did not intersect each other, therefore there will be no solutions. Okay, so during your test, you can use the Desmos, you can graph them. Okay, but in our practice exercises, you have to solve it. Okay.